call this meeting to order. Will everyone stand and please salute the flag?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Borowski, will you please do the roll call?
Mr. Backel?
Here.
Mrs. Poser? Here. Dr. Laughlin? Here. Mr. Merle Almusic?
Here.
Mr. Petracca?
Here.
Mr. Repko?
Here.
Mr. Tillman?
Here.
Mr. Urban?
Here.
And Mr. Wells-Music.
Here. Mr. Nichols will now discuss the executive session that was held prior to the start of this meeting.
During the executive session, the board discussed under matters of personnel, resolutions number 146 and 147, which will be voted on tonight. There was also a discussion pertaining to collective bargaining agreement negotiations, discussions regarding the SEIU members, that's the custodians, maintenance, and food service. And there was also discussion of negotiations with the school district teachers. Under safety and security, there was discussion for procedures for reporting incidents and/or bus accidents. Also under safety and security, there was a discussion regarding the Pennsylvania State Police safety reviews for our school district's building and policies. And under legal was discussion regarding a pending lawsuit. And that is all that was discussed in executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. I'm opening the floor up for hearing of visitors part one. This is an opportunity for anyone in the audience to speak about any item that is on our agenda for tonight. There will also be time at the end of the meeting to discuss any other concerns. There is a 3-minute time limit.
Good evening, Josh Cunningham, 1443 Marguerite Lake Road, Greensburg, PA. What I'm going to discuss tonight is actually at the bottom of the planning, building, and grounds. It's the time of the meeting. When we left here on December 12th, the meeting, the January meeting was listed as January 4th at 3 p.m. It's my understanding the new board wants to be transparent, wants to go back through a process that many people think we've already been through. And I had been excited about attending that meeting. I'd set up some childcare and all those kind of things. My daughter comes to enough meetings too, she might have tagged along. But I called the day before and I found out they would change the meeting till 9 a.m. 9 a.m. on Wednesday? What member of the public can come to any type of meeting less than a month after we took a major vote to stop a building project? Now, looking at the agenda, I did see that something that I brought up at the last meeting about testing the air quality was discussed, and I appreciate that. Safety is the #1 concern, or maybe the baseline concern. That's the #1 thing that we have to worry about. We haven't even talked about education yet. But things that weren't on that agenda that we're going to discuss tonight, I mean, I see we have salt, some very basic things, the replacement of a fire system, and so that would imply, obviously, that there's no building replacement coming there. And I understand that. I understand what happened last month at the meeting. But the question was also brought up about what is the plan now? And to quote the president of the board, he said, so in a few months we can make an informed decision. Now for me, a few months from December 12th, that should be like mid-February, mid-March. If we're going to do any type of minor renovation this summer, we've got to have those discussions now. He said, I would like them to walk through every building. That's the school board. I didn't see any discussion of setting up any type of a tour of those buildings. I would like to talk to the students. Again, no discussion at all of when these discussions are going to take place. Talk to the teachers, talk to the custodians, talk to the food service staff. If we're going to have transparency and we're going to make claims that we have a plan that we're going to look at all of these things in depth and that these things are going to take place in the next few months, Why are they being discussed at committee meetings? My fear is the tactical pause, as we discussed at the last meeting, is actually turning into company halt. That we're going to go on with business as usual, look at kind of replacing things that are in horrific disrepair. But that forward-thinking idea that had been discussed, that okay, we're not going to get a new building, but we're going to reevaluate everything, that was shown at the December meeting when there were a lot of people here. And I'm going to talk about something else concerning safety at the end of the meeting. I'll save that for then, but please keep your promises. If we're doing tours, let's do them. If we're going to talk to teachers, students, let's do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other visitors? Okay, I move for the adoption of Resolution 136, approval of minutes. May I please have a second?
Second.
The motion, are there any comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The minutes are approved as recorded. Moving on to the solicitor's report, Mr. Naples.
No report, Mr. President.
Mr. Naples. Moving on to EWCTC Joint Operating Committee, Mrs. Kozar.
Yes, thank you. It's my honor to recognize two amazing Latrobe students who also attend EWCTC. And they were recognized in December, and we have the great honor of recognizing them here now at their sending school. So, and Mr. Chris Campbell, who's the principal down at EWCTC, is going to speak about each student because he knows them way better than I do. And then at the end, I'm going to give them a little certificate. This is Marion Zangara and Tess Campbell.
I just have a couple things about each of these wonderful young ladies. So Marin is our EWCTC November Student of the Month. She's a masonry student. She's also currently Skills USA president. Marin, along with her peers and advisor, organized a golf outing this fall as a benefit for the club. She's also participated in the PA Skills USA Masonry competition last year and hopes to compete again this year. She's a member of EWCTC's Home Builders Club and the National Technical Honor Society. In addition to her club activities, Marin is also a tremendous athlete. She's team captain for the high school girls wrestling team and is a member of Latrobe's throwing team in track and field. She's a 4-year WPIAL qualifier in shot put. She's also started a weightlifting club here at the high school. Her instructor, Mr. Wilson, believes that Marin has taken the non-traditional status to a whole new level. Her skill and admirable work ethic is only outmatched by her kindness and her willingness to help others. She exemplifies the definition of a leader, and Marin plans to pursue a degree in construction and architecture at Kent State. She intends to own a general contracting business eventually in the future. Congratulations, Marin. Tess is EWCTC's December Student of the Month. She's a cosmetology student. She's a member of Student Council and the National Honor Society. She also plays midfielder on the girls lacrosse team and was named MVP in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. She's a member of the Skills USA and is president of our National Technical Honor Society at EWCTC. Tess works currently as a nail technician at Sanctus Rejuvenation Spa and Salon and is also in our cooperative education program. She's currently prepared to take her Pennsylvania State boards and get her full cosmetology license. After graduation, she will attend Westmoreland County Community College's entrepreneurship program. She wants to eventually own her own salon and become a cosmetology instructor. Mrs. Youngstead, her instructor and her inspiration, says that Tess is compassionate, honest, hardworking, trustworthy, and shows a desire to learn daily. She's motivated to be a success in the industry, and I'm sure she will be. Congratulations, Tess. Thank you for inviting me to present these two young ladies.
And Chris isn't telling you the test is starting. Thank you so much. to have such great students coming from WCTC. We got to really promote. So thank you so much.
Mrs. Kozar, can we get a photo with Mr. Music? Wait, we need a photo, ladies.
Yeah, don't leave.
Oh, yeah. Come on in, Dad. I didn't see you back there. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. My dog's not. I was really saying, but you weren't the stupid. Sorry, not stupid. Senior not stupid.
And our next CWCTC Joint Operating Committee meeting will be on Wednesday, January 24th at 7 p.m. at EWCTC. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mrs. Kozar. Going into education and employment, Mr. Rucka.
I'd ask the board to move on resolution 137, approve new story tuition agreements for 2 students as listed for 2023-2024 school year. Second.
Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed.
I'd ask the board to move on resolution 138, approve tuition student for 2023-2024 school year as listed.
May I please have a second? Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed. Going into finance, I move for the adoption of resolution 139, approve of treasurer's report.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed. I move for adoption of resolution 140, approve payment of bills. May I please have a second? Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed. The next Finance Committee meeting will be Tuesday, February 13th at 5:30 in the senior high school library classroom. Going into facility operations and planning, Mr. Goppel.
Ask the board to move on resolution 141, approve bulk road salt purchase agreement between Greater Latrobe School District and the City of Latrobe and Unity Township.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed.
Ask the board to move on resolution 142, approve proposal for fire alarm main control panel upgrade and repairs at Bagley and Mountain View Elementary Schools with Johnson Control Fire Protection.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed.
Next facilities operation and planning committee meeting is Thursday, February 8th at 4:30 p.m. in the administration building. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Gockel. Student activities and recreation, Mr. Petrarca.
No report this time.
Thank you, Mr. Petrarca. Going into community relations, Mr. Urban.
As resolved, the Greater Latrobe School Board of Directors hereby approve Joe Colwood to serve as a 3-year term on the Greater Latrobe Parks and Recreation Commission Board commencing January 20, next Greater Latrobe Parks and Recreation Commission meeting is Thursday, January 18th, 2024, at 4:30 p.m. in Union Township Municipal Building. And that's the end of my.
Mr. Irvin, we'll get that as your motion.
To do the vote.
Yes, that would be your motion. We just need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed. Going into the Westmoreland Intermediate Union, Mr. Talman.
Yes, thank you. I'd like the board to adopt resolution number 143, to appoint myself, Bradley Toman, to fill the Greater Latrobe School Board representative vacancy on the WIU Board of Directors commencing January 20th, 2024, to the term ending date of June 30th, 2024. I ask for a second.
Mrs. Burhosky, will you please conduct the...
Did you give a second?
Yes.
Mrs. Burhosky, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Kozer.
Yes.
Dr. Lockland. Yes. Mr. Merle Almeza.
Yes.
Mr. Petracco. Mr. Rocco.
Yes.
Mr. Tillman.
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
And Mr. Morgan.
Yes.
That passes. 9 yeas, 9 ayes.
All right, continuing with the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit, I would like to ask the board to adopt resolution number 144 to nominate myself, Bradley Tobin, to fill the Greater Latrobe School Board representative on the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit Board of Directors commencing July 1st, 2024, ending June 30th, 2027. Now ask for a second.
Are there any questions or comments? Mrs. Burhosky, will you please do another roll call vote?
Dr. Lockland. Yes. Mr. Merle Almeza.
Yes.
Mr. Petracco.
Yes.
Mr. Rocco.
Yes.
Mr. Tillman.
Yes.
Mr. Urban.
Yes.
Mr. Gacko.
Yes.
Mrs. Kozer.
Yes.
And Mr. Moraldini.
Yes.
They all are here, 9-0. Passes.
All right, thank you for those motions. Lastly, to end the session, there are the executive director minutes attached for reference, as well as the next WIU committee meeting will be held January 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the Fred Rogers Room at the Ivy. And that concludes the report for the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit.
Thank you, Mr. Talman. Transportation, Mr. Merle L. Music.
No report this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you. Board policy/PSBA liaison, Mrs. Kozar.
Yes, our next board policy meeting will be Monday, January 29th at 9 a.m. at the admin building. That completes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Kozar. There is no report for technology, and going into the superintendent's recommendations, Mr. Fernco.
I just want to back up. The board policy meeting is the 29th.
That's what I said.
Did you say the 20th?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
I don't go by the written agenda.
Okay.
Or the online,
No, she
where
just,
Mrs. Prohosky updates a meeting.
no, I know, but she said 29th to me, and she was telling me to correct my agenda. I didn't know what you said.
Just play along.
Yeah, I'll just let it
We
go.
got it, we got it.
Everybody's cell phones went off, but you're all.
I know, right?
We have a 2-hour delay. So
Okay, that's on you guys.
yeah, that was the other thing that she told me, which had me thrown off.
There's a little button on your phone that you can silence your.
I don't know about 3,400 kids in the district, but I know that I just made 2 very happy in my home.
Well, mine did too, but nobody else knew it.
I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 145 to approve the resignations as listed, including Dennis Pulaski, a custodian for the purposes of retirement.
So moved.
Second. Can I get a second?
You did?
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
I ask the board to move on resolution number 146 to approve professional personnel substitute teachers as listed.
May I please get a second?
So moved. Second.
superintendents too.
I can call it 2 hours later, but I can't actually make a motion.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed.
Ask the board to move on resolution number 147 to approve support personnel classified appointments as listed.
Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed.
Ask the board to move on resolution number 148 to approve a sabbatical leave for employee number 3579.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed? This resolution passes.
Ask the board to move on resolution number 149 to advertise for a board retreat to be held this Saturday, January the 20th, 2024 at 9:30 in the junior high school library.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? During this board retreat, we will be taking, or the board will be taking time to walk through each of our facilities, and we are going to be looking at the facilities master plan made by Mr. Thomas and doing a comprehensive review during this time. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? This resolution passes as listed.
In other business, yes, kindergarten registration, the release is coming up on February the 1st, followed by kindergarten parent information night on the 7th. That's in the senior high school auditorium at 7. We do have an in-service day on the 16th for our staff. No school for students, followed by President's Day on the 19th. No school for students or staff. That day our offices will be closed. And the 29th of February is the end of the second trimester. We are at the end of the first semester, which means that we are halfway through the school year. I can't believe it. Board meetings are listed on your agenda. Our next committee of the whole meeting will be the 13th of February, followed by the regular board meeting on the 20th. All those meetings here in the Center for Student Creativity. Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Kremke. I'm now opening the floor up to hearing of visitors part 2. This is where anyone in the audience can come forward with any concerns they have. Please state your name and address, and when you step up to the podium, there is a 3-minute time limit.
Josh Cunningham, 1443 Marguerite Lake Road, Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Happy to hear that you're taking the tours. Mr. Nichols, just for clarification, if the entire board is there and you're discussing the business of the school, does that fall under the Sunshine Law?
It could.
It could, okay.
This is the.
I'll bring the donuts, guys.
No, this is a conference. There is an exception to the Sunshine Law for conference for information purposes. If they were to make a decision on the spot as a group, then that would violate the Sunshine Law. I assure you that is not going to happen.
I'm just kidding. There's NFL playoff games, guys. But if we have any more of those 9 a.m. meetings, I'm calling off and coming. So as you tour the buildings, I was looking at the dates on the back of the community presentation. Bagley, built in 1951, renovated in 1998. Mountain View, built in 1952, renovated in 1999. I recognize that this tour isn't covering those buildings. However, the world really changed in April.
It's covering all 5.
What's that?
It is covering all facilities.
Oh, it is all covering all 5. Okay, so as you go through these buildings, you know, the world really changed in April of 1999 with the Columbine shooting. Just 2 weeks ago, we had school violence in Iowa with a student dying and a principal really saving the day. In education, it's one of the biggest things you think about every day. Alternate ways out of classrooms, things like that. And without discussing the layout of the buildings, I don't think that's a real prudent discussion. Please do look at each building. With major renovations, at least tabled at this time, I think that one of the things that most concerns me walking around the building is how many rooms in our schools don't have alternate methods out. You have one way in. And the one thing that I brought a prop tonight, but it's not so much a prop as maybe a life-saving device. I know that in my school, in the elementary schools, every single room has one of these. So that if you were in an event and the doors are locked, because we all have windows on our doors, the rooms can still be accessible. But simply with this $50 item, this attaches to the door, there's a piece on the floor I didn't bring, and you slide this in. And we let our biggest guy in the district try to break down the door, and it doesn't come close. Not in, not out. It locks down every single door. So, and I don't own security and night lock. Okay, you can probably buy them on Amazon cheaper, in fact. Those are the kind of things that, as you're talking about safety, and the things that are a disadvantage in older buildings, right? Whoever was designing the upgrades in 1999 and MVES never thought of those, never thought of them at all. So please, listen to your educational professionals, talk to the state police, all of these things. And maybe a policy is already in place. Again, I don't want to know that, that's not public knowledge, and it doesn't need to be. But these are the things that when we're looking at safety, and I promise, I'm not going to get up and talk about air quality and door locks for the rest of our couple of years here. We know budgeting is coming, and staffing and education is actually what we're doing here. That's what the baseline, like I said, is safety. The money that gets spent on education is where we really see return on our investment. So guys, as you go on your retreat around the buildings, enjoy that time and keep our safety in mind.
Thank you.
I will now move for Resolution 150, adjournment of the meeting.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This meeting is adjourned.